I so just want to talk about the happy hormones. So where you've mentioned about doing things that make you happy, talk to me about when you're in a happy moment, what sort of chemicals are released in your body?
So obviously when you're doing something that makes you happy, your brain will talk to your body, as I say, and you release chemicals and endorphins that benefit you, that put you in a more positive mind state.
Yeah.
And as you say, like you touched on going to the gym. So you go to the gym and your brain will release these chemicals.
Yeah.
And the likes of serotonin, and you'll feel better. You'll have a more positive outlook because they're the chemicals that are being released into your body.
And that sort of even they change sort of your thoughts and the process and like your mindset with so everything.
If you look at, say, for example, cortisol, it has an effect on the body's ability to cope with and manage with stress.
Yeah.
So if you're going through a stressful environment, for example, them type of chemicals and hormones in your body alter, the levels alter. The brain's always feeding into your body, and vice versa. It's always, the neurotransmitters are always receiving information of how to approach, basically. Without going too, I don't want to go too into the way it works and start confusing people with big words and stuff like that, but your brain and your body will constantly be talking, and your brain is able to alter the levels of chemicals and hormones that your body receives,
and like instantly, like within
pretty much
less than a second. Like, because from my personal experience with when I get the pain, it's like when that takes over, it's very difficult to concentrate. Like my ability to do what I'm doing in terms of if I'm reading something or if I'm talking to someone or I'm in the moment, that like it sort of clouds me ability to think straight and think clearly. And even do like daily sort of tasks. It sort of, I feel like that cortisol, it's more of like a danger, like you're in a last
fight or flight,
you're in your last resort, you've just got to like focus on that and nothing else. It controls everything in your body and nothing else matters. That's sort of what it does.
In them moments, 100% it is. It's a do I approach this with a fight mentality, or do I leave this and remove myself from this situation, and potentially deal with other thoughts afterwards. So it really is fight or flight at that moment in time.
And I sort of feel like with my diet, it's been a lot easier to manage that. So I've had times now where I've had the pain and I've not had that fight or flight. Like I've managed to get through it and think, oh, I'm all right actually. Like, and then just get out. I'm still gonna do my day and get on with things, and you know that. But that's only when I'm in that positive mindset through my food, when I'm eating well. Because from what I've studied and researched, apparently your gut is responsible for 80% of your emotions. So, and 90% of your serotonin is produced there. So, I know
where the saying comes from about people emotionally eating, you know, it is a true thing.
When people say gut feeling, you know what I mean? Like
but that's your mental and your physical, you know, your mind and your body both talking to each other.
Directly connected.
Communicating 24/7.
And basically what that was saying, it sort of has its own brain, and like it signals, it has more synapse nerves or something than the brain, and it just like tells you straight away, and that's how you know, like you say, if you eat like terrible food, you have a takeaway, you have some Donamite and all this, and then you like after it, you feel so shit, like you feel just feel horrible, man. And it's like
it has a negative impact.
It's telling you.
Your body and your mind will communicate. And we're not talking about communicating the way we are now. The neurotransmitters and the receptors can, you know, they can exchange information in milliseconds
Yeah.
before you even have the thought process.
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
information from your brain has been fired down to whatever part of your body that you
It's
need
just
to.
instant like
it is
that.
instant. It just happens, and I think that's why we underestimate the body's reaction to thoughts and vice versa.
Yeah.
Our thoughts reaction to
So I that's what for another thing that I sort of read was if you like imagine yourself like in a good place or whichever, or you give yourself positive thoughts and you sort of like big yourself up, like, no, I am doing well, I'm motivated, I'm on the right path, and you're sort of praising yourself, you're talking to yourself, your body apparently reacts in a way that it's real. Like anything you could think of, like you're on holiday, you know what I mean, sat on a beach, and like your body will like sort of release chemicals based on it. From what I was reading, it basically doesn't know the difference from what is real or not real, sort of thing. And then if you're thinking about something negative and you're thinking of the future and you're worrying, and then you create a scenario in your head that hasn't happened, which when I'm going through that pain in my back, I do. I create scenarios where years ahead, like I said to you before about what I'm gonna do when I have kids and I meet someone and all this, and it's like even start thinking like I won't be able to pick my kids up because my back and stuff like that. And that's the thoughts that it's given me.
In layman's terms, in basic terms, that sort of is anxiety.
Yeah.
You're thinking about a situation, and going back to what you said before about the spiraling effect, your thoughts will then trigger this release to your body physically. You know, I'm sick with worry. Them terms come from your mind overthinking about a negative situation. And it's a physical reaction. You know,
exactly.
you gut feeling, you're feeling unwell due to them thoughts. It really does have a negative impact. If you're thinking negatively on your body, it will have a negative impact.
It sort of puts you in that place.
And you'll feel worse from it.
And
then, as you say, it gets worse. But if you are thinking positively about a situation, the chances are you'll feel positive. A better reaction. You feel positive from it.
So that's what I was saying in terms of like me looking after my health and whichever. I have a much more positive mentality now, and me going to the gym, like it's sort of like carved in us, within us, that if we complete a task, if we accomplish a goal, or you mentioned Tyson Fury, he talks about setting himself daily goals, and he's created that sort of subconsciously. If he hits that task and he completes that goal, his mind will reward him then. So rewards him with dopamine or whichever. You completed the task and he goes to the gym, he gets the endorphins. It's sort of a combination of things that you can do to help release them happy hormones, and they'll sort of take over your anxiety and take over sort of the negative down emotions. And it's just about finding what works for each individual.
What works for you.
That's it. People might like reading a book or like completing a tackle. That's why people do like shopping online and that, and like just buying something that gives them. It's that hit.
It does. It is.
Yeah.
It's that I feel better because I know that I've got this on the way now. And I'm treating myself to something new. And it's the thought process around. It's not the actual item that's coming. It's the whole thought process around it. That makes people feel better.
It's just,
as you say, it's the ticking the box. I've done that now. That's released this because I'm happy. And that's where it comes from.
I think people don't even realise that though, do they? Like,
no, it is. It's the whole approach for coping mechanisms and strategies, and keeping yourself in a positive mindset. It's difficult to do, and if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing, as the saying goes.
Exactly. It's a lot easier said than done.
100% it is.
But what I don't sort of like, I don't really have like remorse for people who, let's say, for instance, you're not giving yourself, talk about not giving yourself a fighting chance. You're complaining about having all these issues, anxiety, but then they could be you know, just eating junk food all the time, doing nothing for themselves, they're not focused on anything. They're sort of doing the same thing every weekend. They're in a rut, going to the pub, drinking. And I know it can be difficult for some people. I mean, some people can just do it socially and they're fine and get back to work. But then there's other people who, like, it takes over their lives and dominates their lives, and you know, whatever they'll have cocaine or whatever, sniff Charlie every weekend. No, it's like, and that sort of, that drug itself isn't helpful for your mind.
The way I look at that situation is, can that drug be replaced by something that makes them feel better? Is it a routine? You know, is there a formality to it? Is it the social aspect?
Yeah.
Is it the fact that people like going out, and unfortunately going out leads to utilising illicit substances?
Yeah.
Can that be replaced by something that makes you feel better?
Surely it can. Well,
and
most of the time
the chances are that the answer is yeah. It's getting them people to realise that that's the difficult thing.
It's sort of like, I've spoken to a lot of people and they're like, I don't know why I do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to, like, and then they end up doing it every time, because even though consciously they don't want to do it, subconsciously it's a habit.
Yeah.
So from what I was looking at as well, like it takes like 3 weeks to make or break a habit.
Yeah.
And
90 days to make it your lifestyle, something
along yeah. So there's like techniques that I'm gonna start like researching into this more, but there's techniques about making things a habit, and like how to sort of like writing things down, like I am going to do this, I am going to, and like constantly repeating
that plan. And that's similar to what I was saying to you before about when you're in a good place, you need to have a crisis plan, so to speak.
Yeah.
So when you are in them places,
this is what I do.
You can look at it and you can, maybe I should try this, maybe I should try this.
Yeah, because what I was looking at, sort of like that, say your dopamine or whatever, it's a dopamine hit when they do it.
Yeah.
From what I was looking at, it like stops your brain from like filtering that off switch, and it uses it all, and then you end up with like none left.
Okay.
And sort of, it takes them so many days to recover properly, like say 5 days or whatever, and then they do it again. And from what I was looking at, it can have like long-term effects on your mind and how it repairs that structure.
I think we'd call it sort of dual diagnosis, so the use of illicit substances contributing to mental health illness.
Yeah.
It's definitely becoming more and more common, and in the younger ages as well. And I think if I was able to show people what I've seen just in my short 18 months career, being a mental health nurse in the setting I work in, it'd be enough to put them off for life.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's something that we can't do. But I think it'd definitely be a shock. I think people have this mentality of, oh, it won't happen to me, or I'm just out enjoying myself.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it does have an effect, a negative one on the mind, and it can make people really unwell.
Yeah.
And has done and will continue to do so.
It's sort of like, just like you said, finding something else what will replace that, and that can be done. Like you can, if they sort of imagine themselves in a better place, and I'm gonna do this instead, and they have a plan, and they're like, oh, imagine my life if I was doing this, and then that sort of gives them that motivation.
Yeah.
To
if it is the social element, which a lot of the time I believe it is, you know, being out, having a drink or whatever that may be. Just go out for a walk with the lads, or go for a game of footy. See if that works for you. I'm not saying it will. I'm just giving examples of potential scenarios that could be seen as an alternative.
I mean, some people, and I know it's easy said and done, like, and I know people struggle, and then some people are like, I'm fine, like, I'm just gonna do it, and everyone's different. And like, some people can do it socially, and
tolerance levels.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's the ones who can't, and it's like, I do feel sorry for people going for it, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, if you're complaining of being anxious and depressed, and you're having all these problems, but they're actually creating the problems, and they're the root cause, and you're like, you've got yourself to blame, so you've got to fix yourself, you know what I mean?
Definitely, it is about a complete change of mentality from that point of view.
Yeah, and you can sort of tell them, what to do, but they've got to take the action. So
Exactly.
it's like you can take a horse to water and you can't make it sing. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's difficult in them situations because people have got to want that change.
Yeah.
As you're saying, you know, it's all right giving them all this information.
Yeah.
If they don't want to make that change, then the chances are that they won't.
That's it. You can only do your best to support them and give them the knowledge and make them aware. It's up to them to do the next step. You know, you've got to take action yourself. I think that's the most important thing.
It's a major factor.
Accountability, definitely. So I also wanted to touch base on antidepressants and sort of the last thing. How do they work? Because I know people see that as like a get out and like I've got to. That's the solution to things when it's obviously not always the best thing to do.
So obviously it's usually in tablet form. Again, it will change the levels of chemicals in the brain basically. And hopefully with the sight of providing the ability to think a little bit more positive, think a little bit more clearer. Again, I don't want to go into depth and scientific research and start confusing people, but it is to change the chemical composition basically of the brain, allowing people to think clearer
and release them happy hormones.
Release them hormones.
But they can sort of be addictive and
of course they can. If you're giving someone a tablet that makes them feel better, and they're doing nothing in the meantime for themselves whilst on the medication.
They're not changing their life.
They're not changing their lifestyle. They're not
natural.
They're not approaching it. They're not looking for coping mechanisms to think that the medication's the answer. Then the chances are they're going to be reliant on that medication for the rest of their lives. Until a situation gets better. Sometimes it doesn't occur. But I think the medication's got to be utilised, and it is a good, you know, it's a positive that they do allow people to feel that way. But I think you've then got to further that yourself. And look for the coping mechanisms and look for how you can also change your life with a view of not relying on the medication anymore. Sometimes they are used in a short period of time where people feel they can't go anywhere or do anything, and that's the answer. Brilliant, it's working for you, but maybe look at incorporating something into your daily routine that then furthers that,
and like you said,
feel a little bit better.
It's like trial and error.
Of course, not everything's going to work, and something that works for person A won't work for person B. It's unfortunate, but we are, as you say, we're all different.
That's it, and it's sort of like people having an open mind to try new things, because some people are quite closed-minded and like, I'm not doing that. I'm not trying that. That's not going to work. How do you know?
Meditation is one of the.
That's the biggest one. And they're like, nah, that won't work. I'm just gonna sit, and you're like, well,
sitting in a room on my own. Or guided meditation, but it's.
They haven't tried it. And they haven't tried.
Meditation, mindfulness is another one. If you are unfortunately struggling and you feel like there's, you know, you wanna have a little go at changing mindfulness, just type it in on YouTube, Google. You'll be able to. There's plenty of resources out there, and that. It's similar to meditation, but meditation isn't what it's stereotyped to be in the media on programs. It's not sit on a yoga mat in an empty room.
Just do it anywhere, on your couch or whatever.
Of course, meditation can be anywhere.
It's just sort of shutting down and winding down from everything else, all life stresses and worries, and then it sort of just clears your mind and clears your thoughts, and then you're sort of like, when you've done the meditation after it, you're like, you're in a much better place. You feel relaxed, and like, it's even proven, like scientifically proven, it reduces all your cortisol levels and increases concentration, improves memory, and then just sort of like releasing all that anxiety and stress. And
I think if you think about it logically, the environment in which you'd meditate is similar to the environment in which you'd go to bed in. Dark room, quiet space. And
just shut down.
Just you and your thoughts. And that's where people end up not sleeping and getting out of the sleep routine that they have when they're worrying. when there's any issues like that.
That's why it's sort of best for people to do guided meditation, meditation,
exactly.
and they'll teach them how to do it properly and learn, because it's sort of like a learning thing. You've got to learn properly.
Yeah. It's not just sit down and try and gather your thoughts. That'd be quite erratic.
And again, it's sort of like the point your attention to different things, and like they're like, you know, think of a loved one and a person that you wish to have a happy life, and wish them good in their life, and that sort of. And you're through doing that is releasing chemicals. You thinking, oh, I want them to be happy, and like it's all positive sort of things you can do, and it's natural ways of making yourself feel better, relaxing, and sort of just getting through things.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely important, and again, there's tons and tons of stuff online to be able to help you with the process. YouTube, Google, there's videos out there. Because when you say to someone, you couldn't just say to someone, meditate. What does that mean to you? Do you know that? You've got to give someone a topic. You've got to be able to guide them through it, as you say. So it definitely does help. And it'll change people's daily lives.
Yeah, definitely.
Change people's thought processes. I'm a firm believer. I love seeing people do well.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether I know. I love seeing people do well. I think it's
same.
Brilliant. Look, you're doing something with your life. Well done, you.
Yeah.
You know, it does change people's mentalities, and I would personally highly recommend.
Yeah, same here.
Meditation.
I'd recommend it because it's helped me massively. Like, and I only do it for like 10 minutes a day, like just of the morning or whichever when I get the time.
It doesn't have to be 45 minutes to an hour.
No, 10 minutes is fine. That's what I do, 10 minutes.
And I think, again, the sort of stereotypes that surround it.
It even helps with me pain, because it helps me sort of change how I perceive the pain, and sort of switch off from it, and it can lower the intensity. And there's evidence as well that it reduces inflammation as well. So it's like, just me doing that, like, it makes it so much easier and gives me a better quality of life.
Again, could be to do, chances are it will be to do with the chemical composition in your brain and releasing that to your body. And when
cortisol will enhance me pain, it'll make it worse. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of them. But I think that's all from me, to be honest. Have you got anything else you want to touch base on? Yeah, appreciate your time on here, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.